The views and opinions expressed on the following program may not necessarily reflect the views of the staff, management, or board of Hope Media Group and KSBJ. It's what's happening around us, in our town, suburb, city, in our community. It's Community Beat with Kim Kasi McKee on 89.3 KSBJ.
Well, hello and welcome to Community Beat, where we're keeping you tuned in to the topics that are impacting our local communities and helping our communities thrive. I'm your host, Kim Kasi McKee, and today we're talking about ways to engage with family and friends through fun-filled activities throughout the holiday season and beyond. My guest today knows a lot about all sorts of fun-filled activities that are happening all around town, and she'll be sharing some of those resources with us today. My guest is Myra Johnson. She's the head of development at 365 Houston. Myra moved to Houston alone in 2008, but now has lots of family members here. Myra thinks our city is powerful and inclusive and has so much to offer. Myra, thanks so much for joining us today.
Kim, thanks so much for having us.
Absolutely. When we initially met, it was to discuss holiday activities and the many things that are happening all around our city throughout the year. But then you began sharing how these activities and outings can have a much deeper, richer impact on our family dynamics than we even realize. And I would love for you to just share some of your own personal experience with us today.
Yeah, I think it's so incredible to unpack the power of Houston, right? It's just a
Yes.
dynamic place. Over 245 languages are spoken here, and the city has so much to offer in terms of entertainment, education. And so when I moved here quite a while ago, I was totally overwhelmed. This place is huge. I'm a country bumpkin. And just the names of the highways alone, I was
Be a
just
little
never
intimidated, huh?
Absolutely. And so one of the first things that I did when I came here was just I wanted to meet people, wanted to kind of get familiar with the different neighborhoods. And I happened to look into www.365houston.com. And I felt like it was such a great resource because there was a huge variety of options, and I felt like it was a pure representation of Houston. So I kind of got settled into the city with the help of the website and the emails that they send out on a daily basis, and started inviting, family to come visit once I kind of got acclimated and could actually give them directions and
Sure.
advise on what to do. And, my family dynamic is quite unique, and we all have, different things that we have to manage in terms of family dynamic. And so mine is kind of spread out. We're not as close as we hope to be. And I really felt just here within the last few years, it's really important to get to know family. I think the older you get, I turned 40, and that's when, I don't know, for me, it was a big awakening.
Oh,
It was a
sure.
big eye-opening experience.
Mm-hmm.
Because I thought, what's really important, right? Yes, work is important. Yes, status is something that we strive after, whether that's financially or to an educational status or social status. We're always climbing and reaching for all of these things. And there's a constant go, go, go. And there's a constant stress
Mm-hmm.
associated with existing in this season, right? And I started recognizing the importance of true, authentic, genuine connection and
Mm-hmm.
relationships. And when I started to really investigate my life, I thought, whew, Kim, I have some work to, I have some work
Sure.
to do. Facebook
Yes,
friends
don't we
aren't real
all?
friends. Facebook friends aren't real friends. The people I'm meeting at these galas,
Right.
at these events.
That's
Um,
right.
and then I started looking at my family and thinking, do I really know them? Do I really know
Mm.
them? And when I spend time with them, do I really want to? That's the question. Am I pretending? Do I
Right.
really want to be here? Am I really listening? And so I kind of established a goal that, for the next few years, I would be very intentional
Mm.
about crafting positive moments and
Mm.
memorable experiences for family. And it's a scary thing depending on history. We all have history, and we all
Yes,
have different relationships with different family members.
that's
And
right.
so when you kind of make that commitment, there's a difference between saying you want to do something
Mm-hmm.
and then actually doing it in the moment
Yes.
when the person's
Yes.
driving you crazy. And then
Mm-hmm.
they may or may
Mm-hmm.
not have that commitment. So it was a decision that I do not regret, because what I did was I started looking at different experiences outside of my house, right? In a neutral environment. And sometimes it's easier. For example, if you want to talk to someone over coffee is great, but maybe sometimes when you're walking, right, it might be easier to
Yes.
talk. You have things to look at, you have distractions. So in my mind, I thought, well, maybe if I can pick really interesting events that we all might enjoy together, think about it. It's a short amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
It's neutral ground, and you're in public. And for the most part, we all try to behave in public.
Right. For the most part.
For the most part. And so I also started looking into it. And when you kind of do the research behind the psychology of crafting really intentional moments with family, there's a direct tie to, improved mental health. Children perform better academically. There's a self-confidence that is gained when you have this reinforced sense of tribe. The kids start to see what future parenting skills are working. It even lengthens your life expectancy and enhances your
Amazing.
physical health.
Wow.
So all of that to say that over the course of several years, and it takes time, right? Nothing
That's
happens
right.
overnight. But when you kind of bring your friends and family together and you say, the purpose of our time here today is to create positive moments, and anything that's not in line with that, anything that's not in line with us sparking joy or nurturing peace or showing each other love, there's really no place for it. People start to realize, okay, this is what I'm here for, to
Mm.
add positive value and to make sure that our relationship is stronger. So it's been a really interesting experience. I now have family here, which is wonderful. I have my sister, my niece, my mom, and they now, of course, are huge fans of Houston. And we're just really honored to live in such a great place that has so much to offer.
Wow. Love this. Just the thought that, first of all, you were willing to be that, I'll say, ambassador, if you will. Every family needs that leader, someone that will take the initiative to make those intentional family times happen. I don't know about you, Myra, but I've been in a lot of experiences, and I've heard other people say the same thing, that oftentimes when there's the loss of a loved one, everyone gets together around the meal, after all of the ceremonial aspect has taken place, and vow that they're going to get together. They'll say, we're going to make sure we don't just get together when someone goes home to be with Jesus, because you're under the emotion of that. Like, or why did we let this take so long? Or that one time when there's a family reunion, well, we should get together more often. And I think just having someone like yourself, someone that's willing to actually make that happen. And I also love the fact that you talked about basically setting some expectations, some making an alliance, that this is intended to be a good, healthy time. That we're trying to make some good memories here is very, very powerful. And even the fact that there's a science behind it, that the article that you shared was so informing about all of the positive benefits of family time, not the least of which family bonding and children's academic performance. It talked about risky behavior, less of that, just when children the family is happier, there's going to be less opportunity, or it's less likely for children to get involved in delinquent behavior, just from getting together more as a family. And so we're talking today with Myra Johnson, who's head of development for 365houston.com. And we're talking about just the power of living in a city with so many resources that are available to us throughout the holiday season and beyond. and how these seasons, these activities, these events can be such a tremendous gift to our families in helping us to strengthen that bond and to create lasting memories. And so, Myra, we talked about, tell us a little bit more about the resource of 365 Things to Do in Houston. Tell us a little bit about the history of 365 Houston.
Yeah, thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to share about the background. There are so many different platforms that provide information on what's happening in the city. And this one's kind of unique. It was started back in 2010 as a Facebook page, and the founder is actually a Clear Lake native. And it quickly grew because, the platform focused on unique and notable events and attractions. And
Mm,
so that Facebook page turned into a website in 2013. And then we launched our first weekend guide, and which we've been publishing every week since, which is crazy to think about that
wow.
amount of history and experience in kind of curating the various options that you have on a weekend basis. And so
Yes.
over the years, we have grown into 4 different platforms. We've got our website, our social media pages, an email newsletter that goes out 5 times a week, and then our mobile app.
So you're literally sending resources. There are resources available 365 days.
Yes, 365 days. That's true. Because I think, there are different types of things to do, right? There's
Sure.
something that, we're talking a lot about family activities during the holidays. And I remember when I was here alone for quite some time and didn't really know anyone, just working hard. And we have a huge population of people here in Houston that have just come here to work. And so
That's
I think
right.
it's really neat that 365 has these different categories of content that are split between live music and food and drink, and then family, comedy, theater. So, it's really interesting to kind of have the option to explore the content in categories based on what you feel like, you'd like to get into. And it's important also to be okay, I think, my opinion, doing some of those things alone, right? I think
Sure.
pour so much into a lot of other people and at work, and that alone time is also a good time to kind of get yourself out of your comfort zone and be exposed to maybe a new culture, a new type of food, a new outdoor experience. There are so many now to offer, so many immersive artistic experiences. So we really try to provide a comprehensive local pulse of information. And we are very intentional, Kim, about having that content be a reflection of Houston.
Mm, that's awesome. That is awesome. And I love that you made the point to say that whether you are looking for activities for a family or for those who may not be here with family, or who you want to do something really bad and there may not be a person available at that time, there's still something that you can do. You can feel totally fine taking on the theater or going out to eat, to try a new restaurant. So the listing has things for the family, or it has things for singles, and just across the board. And I
Yeah.
think that's a tremendous resource.
I think it is. I mentioned earlier I turned 40, and I actually went on my first solo trip. They say everybody should go on a trip alone. And I
Mm.
did. I went to Hawaii alone for a
So
week.
did I a
Did
few
you
years
really?
back. Yes, ma'am.
Which
Yes, ma'am.
island? Which
I
island
went
did
to
you go?
Honolulu.
Okay, I went
And
to Kona.
but in my case, Myra, it started out being 5 of us. But you know how it is when it's time to put the money on the table. But because I was going to a women's conference, I said, "You know what? I'm gonna go because I'll get to meet some other women." But I was so proud of myself and so grateful because guess what? When I came back talking about that trip, the next summer I went, guess what? I had 4 other people with me.
Awesome. Awesome. If you were smart, you would have went to the same hotel and brought them as a referral. Look how many
And I
customers I
did.
brought you.
And I
Yes.
did. And guess what? They had to
Very
hear that
good.
presentation I had to listen to.
Oh no. Oh no. Well done. When I was thinking about that trip, I thought, man, sure would have been nice if I would have started off maybe locally or regionally and just tried a weekend alone. I mean, I
Right?
ended up having a good time and definitely a transformational experience that I highly encourage. But I
Wow.
honestly, prior to going, could have taken like my own sort of like individual excursion to the Woodlands or to Galveston
Sure.
or a
Yeah, you didn't
staycation
have to take such a
in town.
quantum leap.
Yeah, exactly. To get acclimated
Yeah,
because, while that alone time is important, sometimes we want to kind of stay in our routine so we don't have to think and we don't have to process. And when you are alone, experiencing something like an event or a destination, you're observing the world and all you have are your thoughts. It's you. You're not
right.
playing a role. You're not a
That's true.
mom, a
That's
sister, a
true.
brother, a dad. You're you in that moment with no really other obligations to anyone else. And
Mhm.
that really helps you kind of settle into yourself. So I would definitely encourage, we are on our phones all the time. We're watching Netflix, and I'm definitely not knocking Netflix or Hulu or any other streaming service. And we obviously have work and family obligations. But, setting aside that time to give ourselves the gift of learning something new, seeing something new, meeting new people, it can be a powerful tool as well.
We are talking with Myra Johnson that is telling us about all types of wonderful opportunities to get involved in events and family fun, or if you're here alone in the city, many, many things you can explore in this city that is so diverse with over 245 languages, 365 Houston. They do a wonderful job in curating all kinds of resources that are available that's reflective of the diversity of our city. And so we're talking to Myra about some of those things that you can find on this resource, not only during the holiday season for your family, but all literally 365 days out of the year, which is tremendous. So Myra, how do you go about determining what's included in your resource?
That's a good question. That's a good question. And I think for any platform that provides content that's consumed, right,
Uh-huh.
by the public, there's a constant, like, ongoing discussion around what you're going to feature and what you aren't, right? And
Sure.
there's always that, you've got it kind of looming over your head, right? We all have business goals to achieve too. We definitely
That's
want
right.
to help more people find out what to do and want to make sure our website is being used. And so we've been very intentional about not including news or not including opinion pieces and
Sure.
really staying centered on events. So I think that's why our audience uses our website so heavily because, it's an action-based website. So when they go there, they're going for the sole purpose of planning their time, right? Because they know when
Sure.
they get there, they're ready to say, okay, what am I doing on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or within the next couple of weeks. So with that in mind, we focus on that person and we know that that person is typically making the decision for others. Like we talked earlier, I'm
Sure.
kind of the one now that, even though it's my two eyes on the screen, I'm actually planning for like 15 people,
Sure.
whether it's a group of friends or family. So we think
Mhm.
about that person. And then we also keep in mind that we want that person to see Houston in a well-rounded way. And
Sure.
so we try our very best to give the small nonprofit organizations the same support as the large ones, and the small theater groups the same exposure as the large ones.
That's great.
We try to be very inclusive. We try to have it be well-rounded content that it's for everyone. So certain platforms, cater to certain audiences, and that's needed, right? We all need to
Sure.
have access to a lot. But for us, when you go to our platform, you'll find something for kids, you'll find something for families, you'll find something, elevated experiences, but you'll also find social experiences as well. So wide spectrum of things to choose from. And we not only focus on Greater Houston, and that is our core. We will take care of our Greater Houston area first, but we also have users from all across Texas. And there are different destination areas that obviously are connected to Houston, even Bay Area, Austin, Dallas. So we've got, Texas is it's its own country.
Yes, it is.
Texas is a country.
Absolutely.
So, what is that saying? You keep the main thing the main thing. So
That's
the
right.
main thing is definitely Greater Houston. But then beyond that, we have to honor, the fact that people from all across Texas are using it to travel to Houston. And there's a dynamic and exchange there, whether Houstonians want to venture out or other people want to come in. We just want to make sure that we have a comprehensive list of things to do for everyone.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, we are talking to Myra Johnson from 365houston.com. And we're going to just jump right in to share with you some of the specific holiday events that are happening. And Myra, if you just hit a few of those highlights, some of the things I know there are just tons of things going on, but tell us maybe some of the unique things that are happening throughout the holiday season.
Yeah, I would love to. And you are certainly right there. There's a plethora of things to choose from. And I tried to find things that were accessible, so not too overwhelming, but
Mhm.
also like unique and memorable. So a really cool thing to look into that's actually in the Bay Area, just because I just happened to mention it, is the Holly Jolly Shopping Trail. What a name. Let's say that three times.
Yes.
it's
I'm
a it's
happy
a
just thinking about it.
I'm just happy. I'm Holly. So, again, like back to this, like, right, how do we support Houston, right? How do we take care of the place in which we live? And I'm big on supporting small businesses. And although I do shop on Amazon, again, I try to go to restaurants that are owned by mom and pops. And so if you're that kind of person that really wants to support small businesses, they are offering a free digital passport that is packed with a lot of deals and discounts in the Bay Area to encourage shopping locally. So you want to think
Mm,
about it like the
right.
ultimate local gift guide. So you go to bayareahouston.com, you click on the Holly Jolly shopping trail, and you sort of have a map of all of the areas in which you'll receive a discount if you shop there. And if you redeem all 15, then you're entered into a prize drawing from those businesses. So
Wow.
really thumbs up from 365 Houston on that concept, checks a lot of boxes, and it's all around feel good experience. The next one I'll mention is the Houston Botanical Garden. This place is incredible. Kim, if you have not been, I would highly recommend. It's 132 acres of horticultural displays, natural ecosystems, and walking trails. And so when you get there,
Mm,
you've got Sims Bayou running through and around the northern edge of the site, but they offer once a year an internationally acclaimed holiday light show. And I went last year and I was floored. You're walking, right? And again, that's a great way to work out, especially during the holidays, gives you permission to eat that pecan pie. Feel good about it.
of
And then,
course.
yeah, and they've got all of these stations with these immersive light shows and illuminations. And, you're supporting artists too. These are global artists
Yes.
that have come together and have created these experiences. And you're walking through a garden at the same time. So you're outdoors. And
Wow.
so they just have some cool things there, like a fire garden, these twinkling blue bonnets, if you can imagine that. And they have a cylindrical Christmas tree. So really
Mm,
impressive thing. So definitely look into the Houston Botanical Garden. You're going to head toward 45 South for that one. And
awesome.
I think I'll shift focus now to spring for the
Mm,
giant gingerbread village at
oh
City Place.
my. Sounds
My, oh my.
exciting and
It
yummy.
is. It is. I don't think you can eat the gingerbread
I'm
houses, but you can
sure. I'm
definitely look
sure.
at them. Darn it. They should pay, right? That should be
Right.
another feature. Depending on how long the gingerbread's been out there. Otherwise, that might be a little gross. But now through January 7th, you can visit the giant gingerbread village. It's been in place for about 3 years, and you're able to go down a gumdrop, a huge lollipop, candy cane lined path, 16-foot high gingerbread house, and a 12-foot windmill. This is a
Wow.
complimentary event. And of course, you've got so many what they call Insta-worthy attractions. So if you're looking to really have some fun holiday family photos, I would check this one out. They're open from 7 a.m. until 11 p.m. again at City Place Plaza and Park in Springfield. Texas.
And you mentioned that one is complimentary, so no tickets. That's a free
That's
event.
right. It's a
Awesome.
free event. Free event.
Awesome.
And the last area I'll really shift to is downtown Houston, right? We got to take care of downtown Houston, the
Absolutely.
critical part of the city. So much happens there. And so there are a couple things that are pretty cool. Have you been to the Texas size pool yet at the top of the Marriott?
No, I have not. I've seen it from afar though. Oh my goodness. I
Okay,
look
Kim. Well,
forward to seeing it.
it's time to get lazy. You got to get on that lazy river. It's the world's largest
Yes.
Texas-shaped lazy river, and they have heated it to 80 degrees. So this is my kind of swim. I really enjoy the water, and I'm what they call a water baby. And so anytime I get stressed out, I do like to get and I go swim or put my feet in the water and just kind of
Nice.
reflect and meditate, right?
Mhm.
So they have created a twinkling lights display. So you can actually float down this lazy river that's heated, and you're kind of going through an amazing light show. And they have a hot cocoa station, and they're also offering movie nights every Thursday evening. So just imagine being able to take the family there, and you've got holiday lights, decor, movies, and tons of other events happening downtown in partnership with Central Houston, the Houston Downtown Management District, that are also offering Texas Winter Lights and Mistletoe Square that's taking place at Market Square. So, you could just pick a day and explore all of these, experiences in downtown, and then maybe end up at the Marriott Marquis for, a staycation. I will say Bagby Street, they have a winter wonderland on Bagby Street, which is going to be cool. That's just returned as of this year. And all of those light shows are running through January 2nd. So for more information, I would definitely go to the Houston Downtown Management District website. And then I would also check out the Marriott Marquis website for that light display that's happening while you're floating on 80-degree water.
Wow, which that 80-degree water at the rate we're going with our temperatures, that may be kind of easy to maintain in Houston.
More like a sauna, right? It's gonna be, yeah. You think about
No
that. Yeah.
problem there. Wow. Well, this is so exciting. These resources are just outstanding. Will you, again, let our audience know where should they go to find these and other listings, both free activities as well as some for nominal cost? But where do they go to get their families plugged in and connected for the rest of the holiday season and beyond?
Yes, I am so excited to share different ways to connect with us. We would be honored to connect with you. We have our website, which is www.365houston.com. And if you would like to be notified of the events happening around town, the easiest thing to do is just to subscribe to our emails, because we have a curated list that goes out. I think earlier I mentioned that weekend guide that's been the most popular piece of content we create since 2013. So you can contact us at info@365thingsinhouston.com. Again, that's info@365thingsinhouston.com. And of course, we've got that app. So we invite you to join us in supporting the city and experiencing it as well.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, Myra, thank you so much for sharing such a tremendous resource with our audience today. And our prayer is that our families will have a safe and enjoyable holiday season. Take advantage of all of the many beautiful sights and sounds throughout the greater Houston area and create some memories that'll last for a lifetime. So again, we thank you so much for joining us today. Our guest has been Myra Johnson with 365 Houston. Myra, thank you.
Oh, thanks for having us. We really appreciate the opportunity to chat with everyone and be here for everyone also. So wishing everyone a happy holiday.
Awesome. Again, that's 365houston.com to find out about all sorts of wonderful activities throughout the holiday season and beyond. And we hope you'll join us again next week on Community Beat. I'm Kim Kasi McKee on 89.3 KSBJ.
Thanks for joining us for Community Beat with Kim Kasi McKee. Join us every Saturday morning at 5:30 on 89.3 KSBJ.